Hey, everybody, Happy New Year. Really excited to be on this call with you. We're going to learn how we can dominate 2025 together. That's the goal for tonight. So, as you come on in, it's great to see you. I see so many familiar faces here. Just let us know where you're coming from. Let me know what your big goals are. I see that Scott and Sharon are on. They want to improve my doubles, improve volleying technique, improve strategy. So that's great. And we got Brett, Carmen from oh Tennis Con Live. Very nice. Good to see you. Kurt's here. Rick Tomlinson's here. Rachel wants accuracy, more accuracy and placement, more forward spring at the net, and second serve consistency. Dr. Tom Nordstrom, who's always part of everything. I did practice my drop shot. That's right. We did a live coaching with Tom. We did our one-on-one, and he wanted to improve his drop shot. So very good. So I'm really excited to see you guys on. Oh, Mariana goes, I want to be a better doubles partner. All right. Good goals. And Mariana's got she's got one of our prizes for the best year ever challenge. So excited to show you that a little later. Improved shot selection, says Jeff. And yeah, so this is great. So I'm going to kind of get right into this. You can always watch the replay. We'll leave the replay if you are coming in late, but I don't want to waste anybody's time here. I really want you to get the most out of this training. So we're going to go through, again, how you can dominate 2025 so you can have your best year ever on court. So let's get right into it. I'm really excited about this. I worked all day on this presentation, so hopefully you guys like it. So the big question of 2025 is, how do we get better and how do we do it fast? That's what I'm going to talk about in tonight's training. How do we get better and what's the fastest way to do it? So we're going to go right through that one. Next one. So what do we need to work on? That's one of the things that, as you guys are listening to this, because I want this to be very, very interactive tonight, I want to see your goals. Okay, like Kurt just says he wants to improve his serve, his movement, and his strategy. All right, so I'm going to ask you to be very specific tonight as well. So what do we need to work on? I sent this question to over 60,000 emails of tennis players in December. I don't know if you remember getting that email. And what do you think the top answers were? So I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds here. What do you think, out of 60,000 tennis players who are mostly adults like you, write in the comments section, what do you think some of the common things that people want to improve? What do you think most people feel that they need to do to get better as a tennis player? So John says to get faster on the tennis court. Matthew says mental. First of all, thank you guys so much for participating, leaving comments. Serves. All right, a couple more. What do you guys think? What do people think that they need to do to have their best year ever on court? Net play. All right. Cut down errors. Very good. Feel more relaxed and not as tense. Relax, not rush shots. All right, very good. You guys are doing awesome. Reduce errors. Great comments. So here's what I discovered from you guys. There was all kinds of answers, but if we were to put them in categories, it was serve, and then also a lot of people said serve consistency, and then a lot of people just said consistency. Like, I want to be more consistent. We've heard a couple of comments already saying, I want to reduce errors. Another big one was feeling just not so confident in your strategy and your mental toughness on big points. Like, we've already had a couple of people say, I want to play more relaxed tennis, right? Who said that? Laura said, I want to feel more relaxed, not tense up. So I kind of put that in the strategy, mental toughness bucket. And then fitness and movement. A lot of people just feel that they want to feel faster on court, And then a number of people want to also, besides feeling faster on the court, you want to feel better on the court. You want to feel better on and off the court. So that's what we're going to really focus on if you're going through this best year ever challenge. These are the 4 big buckets that you can train on every single day to get better. So the next question is, a lot of people just write down serve. I want to get better at the serve. But one of the things I want to teach you is that the more specific you can get with your goals, and then how to practice those goals, you'll actually achieve those goals. I don't know how much you follow my emails, but I've also said studies show that only 9% of people actually achieve whatever their big goals are for the year. And that comes down to anything. And we know that the big achievers have like clear visions, very specific visions of what they want. So if you want to improve your serve right now, comment. And then as you guys are commenting, I'm going to get something kind of cool set up here so we can write this down, keep track together. When you say, I got to get a better serve, what specifically do you mean by that? What does having a better serve to you mean? What do you need to do better? And what's the benefit going to be once it gets better? How is it going to help you get across the finish line to win more matches? So I want to hear you guys what you think. And then I'm going to get this set up right here. So let's see if it comes on in. Come on. Oh, there we go. All right. Step 1 is pretty good. Wish me luck, guys. This is a new technology I'm working with tonight. So we have that. No. All right. That's good. Let's get this bigger. I keep hitting the wrong things. Come on. Why doesn't it let me stretch this out? There we go. There we go. All right. Now we can do some damage. All right. So hopefully you guys have been doing your job commenting and I can come back. All right. Sarah's here. Okay. So I have Sarah saying, play the percentages. Play the percentages on your serve. I'm not going to put that one down. That one, I don't quite understand that. Better pronation. All right. So we'll go better pronation. I'm going to put this here. Better pronation. So that's one. Let's take a look. What's another one? More slice, more kick. Okay. More slice, more kick. What's another one you guys put down? How cool is this? This is pretty cool, right? More power and strategic placement. More power and strategic placement. Well, return. Let's see what else. Technique. Technique's got to be, see, that's the thing. Technique, what does that mean? What does technique mean? I need more specific. Serve as a weapon, gain more free points. Oh, look at this. This all. Stop it. This I'll put this, that I'll put that there. So that messed me up. All right, let me get rid of. Let me hopefully delete that. How do I delete that? Anyway, we'll come back to this. I'll try this on my next one. I had it going good there, but let me just go. So we have more power, strategic placement, serve as a weapon, gain more technique, getting a second serve that's harder and not to attack. See, I like that goal. See, like I'm going to credit some people and give some people advice on how to be more specific. Like when somebody's saying technique, well, what specifically about your technique has to be better? You have to define that more. Serve as a weapon, getting more free points. That's a good one. How are we going to do that? Placement, fewer double faults. So that's a good goal. How are we going to have better placement, get fewer double faults? Why don't you have the placement you want? Gain a second serve that is harder to attack. That's really good. Now, what do you need to be able to hit that serve harder, Scott, so you can attack it? I think we need to get more spin on your serve, and what spin are we going to go after? Toss the ball to the right and not open up too soon. So you guys got lots of really good goals. Consistent toss, hit up on the ball. I want to be able to serve to a spot I'm telling my partner I'm going to serve to. Okay, so these are all, now we're getting very specific goals. This is very good. So now we're going to go to the next, got to get out of there. Get right here. So now we're going to go to the next slide. And so now I want you guys to write down, because we have our goals, okay? We have our goals. Now we've got to have an honest conversation with ourselves and ask ourselves, what is holding us back? Like, Scott, what is holding you back from having a better second serve? This time I think I'm gonna write it myself. So it'll be sloppy, but I don't think I'm gonna have that same thing happen. So I'm looking for comments now on, you have your goal of your serve, and then you have to be honest with yourself and go, well, what is holding me back? Like when we heard technique, what's holding your technique back? What's keeping Doug from having a more consistent toss? What's keeping Mariana from saying, I want to be able to serve to a spot and that I want to go to? So we have lack of practice time. So one thing that we have is practice time. Not enough, right? Okay. Practice time. More practice. Okay, that's another one. Scott said practice too. So that's 2 for practice. So we're feeling we don't have enough practice time. I have a third practice one. Okay, so practice time is a big answer. Is this the thing? Need to have more MPH, says John, but how are you going to get more MPH? Not trusting my racket drop. That's a good one. So Matthew says, if I had a better racket drop, which is how we actually start the 30-day challenge, that's one of your choices. If I had a better racket drop, that's a good one. I'd have a better serve. And a lot of you, that's true. If you guys had a better racket drop, you would. Ellen says, if I had a better second serve, fear of double faulting. So then, Ellen, you got to answer me. Why do you think your second serve isn't, as good as you want it to be? Holding me back. I am doing something technically wrong, which is making my shoulder hurt. Okay, so technique, and then pain with that technique, and when you have good technique, we know that everything feels really nice. When the technique is right, you actually feel really good most of the time. I mean, of course you can get hurt. Let's see. It's Rick, not Matthew. Okay, I'm sorry. It's tough. I'm going to mess up a little bit here, Rick. I need to get better feedback, like filming, okay? Better coaching. Better coaching and problem solving, okay? So being able to analyze what you're doing right and wrong. These are the things, okay? Let's see if there's any more I missed. Use lack of focus, practice. I think we got it. Okay, you guys are doing awesome. All right. So now we know we've taken the service. It's one of the big ones. And we have certain goals. We want more power. We want better placement. We want better technique and all that kind of good stuff. And what's holding us back so far that we feel is practice was a big one. Better technique, better racket drop. Also being able to analyze what we're doing. I think you guys are nailing this so far. You guys are doing really, really good. So let's go to the next one. So here we go. Now, this is another big thing. What are the solutions? If you feel like your technique needs to improve, if you feel like you need a better racket drop, if you feel like you need more practice time, what are some of the solutions? What are some of the things that in a perfect world you would do to achieve your goal? Laura says proper technique is everything. So I want to hear from you now. In a perfect world, what would you do to get better? Okay, so Rick says Video analysis. He says, I would do more video analysis to solve my problems. Anybody else? What would you do? This is the most important part, is actually fixing problems. In a perfect world, I would have a tennis court in my backyard. Okay. Tennis court, more access to the tennis court, right? So more time on the court, tennis court time. Work with a tennis pro. Work with pro. Practice serving, make it into a game. So we have another one, practice. But practice can be tricky, because if we're practicing the wrong things, then that necessarily isn't going to help us. So that's another thing too. Sometimes we think, well, if we just get more court time and hit more balls, things will get better. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. All right. Any more? Watch how-to videos on YouTube. Okay. How to on YouTube, which there are some great videos out there from a lot of good instructors. A lot of my good friends make great videos on how to serve. I often video myself, but I feel like I need feedback. Okay, so expert feedback. Expert feedback. Because you can go video it. I'm actually working with somebody right now virtually. His name's Jeff, and you know, he'll tell me, he's like, man, I'm looking at the video and I just wouldn't have caught what you just caught. He's like, I video myself a lot, but I'm not catching the things that you're catching. Anything else that you would need to solve your serve problems? Are we kind of written out? You guys have some good answers though, some really good answers. All right, so I'm going to go to the next slide here. Now, who here, and just say yes, who here has heard me talk about the talent code, the book, The Talent Code? Who's heard me talk about it? Britt says yes. Rick says yes. Matthew/Rick is always making sure he puts Rick in there. Doug says yes. Willie says yes. Yep. Okay. So a lot of you guys have been following me, know that I talk about this book called The Talent Code. It's something that, you know, I've been kind of every year, the older I get, the more I kind of coach in the style of The Talent Code. And then once I found the book, I kind of got excited because I'm like, yes, this is it. This is everything I believe. And I'm on this track anyway. And I got to dive deeper in, because this is obviously the way you get better. Okay. So a lot of you have heard me talk about the talent code. So here's the question. What is the main message of the book? You've heard me talk about it. What are the themes and principles of the book? What is it about? And then I'll kind of tell you what's it about too. But I just want to know what you guys think it's about, and then I'll tell you what I think it's about. And then we're going to talk about how we're going to be able to dominate the court when we can really tap into our own personal talent code. All right. So Willie says it's about deep practice. And obviously we need to know what does deep practice mean? But it does talk about a concept called deep practice. That's true. That Britt says that talent can be developed. Talent is developed. You're just not necessarily a natural born talented person. Okay. I think some people have certain gifts, obviously, but then they certainly have to cultivate that talent. All right. And anybody else have any thoughts on what it is? Dave says focused practice to create myelin, which we'll maybe get into a little bit in this, but it's certainly a big, deep theme in the book. All right, so it seems like a couple of people know what it's about. Seems like maybe since there's not many answers, a lot of people you don't know what it's about. All right, so let's get into this. So the Talent Code is a book that basically talks about this one guy who noticed, his name is Dan Coyle. He noticed that there would be these talent hotbeds in certain parts of the world to where all of a sudden it would spring up and there'd be a lot of great golf players, like in, I think it was South Korea at one point. And then in the Dominican, all of a sudden there's all these amazing baseball players coming out of there. In Brazil, we know they always are springing off more and more amazing soccer players. And Russians had a big tennis boom, especially with female tennis players. Why does that happen? And what are the ingredients? So does anybody know the first ingredient? What is the first ingredient that is necessary in the Talent Code to start to create a talent hotbed to where people are achieving whatever their skill that they've chosen to take on, that they're achieving this at a very high level? What's the first ingredient that must happen, according to this book, The Talent Code, in order to start performing at a very high level in whatever you're trying to be good at? Passion. Okay. That's kind of where we're at. It's passion. There's another word for it. Does anybody know what the word is? Does anybody know what the word is? So we'll write this down though. Passion. That's Rick's guess. Anybody else have any other guess what the word is? No? No guesses? All right. So the first ingredient, let me see if I put this down or not. Okay. No, I didn't write it down. It's ignition. It's called ignition. So yeah, we have desire and ignition. That's right. So ignition is right. Ignition. All right. So I'm actually going to take you and show you my little ignition journey. Okay. And then maybe as you're watching me do this, you can kind of comment and let me know what ignited you. What was your ignition moment in tennis? So I'm going to save and close this for a second. We'll come back to this project. I'm really living on the edge here today. So I was going through all these today. I thought you guys might get a kick out of it. This is me when I was about 11, 12 years old. Can you guys see that? All right. And I really started to get into tennis because my parents started to take lessons. And so I got super into it. And then one thing that just made it kind of like the path of no return is that at the end of my first year, there I am, the same shot, Mays Landing netter ranked #1 in New Jersey. So I was a state champion my first year of competing. So that really, really, I would say, ignited my lifelong passion of tennis. There's the rankings right there. And here's a picture of me. I think I'm either in high school or college there. And this is kind of cool. I found this today. This was my high school, Oakcrest, and I'm on the Wall of Fame there. So this was the class of 91, and they gave this to me in 2007, the Oakcrest High School Athletic Wall of Fame. So I should go back to my high school and still see if they have that up there on their Wall of Fame. So once this all happened to me as a kid, it was kind of like, oh, here's one more picture. If you guys are interested, me as a teenager there, might be early college years. But, you know, once my playing career kind of ended after college and I realized I wasn't going to be a pro like Andre Agassi, then I started to coach totally obsessed players like you, like juniors. This is pretty cool. I found this today. What I learned from Pete by Max. I called these guys the young guns. They all went on to play very high level Division I tennis. So maybe I was like part of his ignition, right? Where he's like, and he showed me the basics, good form. First of all, look, he did have good form. He had very good form. What did he say? Oh, here's another one we're talking about. Practice makes perfect. So this kid was learning all this at a very early age for me. Practice makes perfect. Look at that. Look at that nice in your face. I call this in your face form. That's where I came up with it, teaching the young guns. These guys look like little pros. They look like little pros. They said a little attitude goes a long way. They said be passionate. So they learned, they knew to be passionate and to have ignition. And I think the most important one they put right here is protect your coach and his horse. Let me just show you that. Protect your coach and his horse. So I just thought you guys might enjoy that. So that was my ignition kind of journey. Okay. So let's come back to the presentation. All right. So let's see. Oh my God. Motivation. What is meant by ignition? Ignition basically means what started the spark? What started the spark of you guys playing? Was it watching a tennis match that you saw on TV? Was it the first time your parents brought you to a court? I remember my parents bringing me. They started to learn tennis, and my mom would take a lesson, and then she'd teach me her lesson. That was another big ignition moment. Okay, so let's see what else you guys have to say. Yeah. Oh my God. Look at that backswing. Yeah. My backswing was too big. My backswing is too big, Laura. You froze a little on my feed. Am I back? Do you guys hear me now? Now, okay. All right, cool. So that's ignition. Let's go into why is it essential? Why is having ignition so important? It's very important to get fired up so that you can really dive deep into something at a high level and you put all your effort, all your energy, all your passion into it. All right. Somebody said watching Jimmy Connors on TV. Yeah, I would say another one was watching Connors, McEnroe, Borg McEnroe final was another big ignition moment for me. So let's talk about though. Let me kind of we need to get fired up, but what can also be a problem with ignition? What could be a problem with ignition? Does anybody know? What do you need to be concerned about with ignition? I'm going to see what you guys write, and then I'm going to see if this will be read for me. Let me see. What do you guys think would be actual? Is there a problem with having ignition? I'm going to say you get ignition going, right? That's the fire, but you got to keep it going, right? Yeah, no focus. No focus. So some people, they have their ignition moment, and then maybe they get stuck, or they go on a losing streak, or the weather gets cold. And this is the reason why a lot of people don't achieve their goals. Where's my eraser? Is their fire gets put out. That's the problem with ignition. There's lots of things in tennis that can put the fire out. And especially if you don't see yourself improving the way you want to improve, well, that can kind of put out your fire as well. So it's important that you keep your game moving forward. You always have something new and exciting to look forward to. Burning out, self-destruction, uncontrolled burning, self-destruction, getting injured, right? Getting injured. All of a sudden it could bum you out. You don't want to come back. So that's the first ingredient, and we got to be careful about burning out. What's the next ingredient? We already talked about it, so I'm just going to write it down here. The next ingredient we need is deep practice. Okay? So we need ignition. We need to get fired up, But in order to not get burned out and to keep moving forward, the other big, huge ingredient, like this is like the main biggest part of the book, because the more you can do these kind of activities and like it, at least you're not going to have to worry about getting stagnant, getting stuck. You're going to feel that you can always improve that 1% every day. So what does deep practice mean to you? What do you think deep practice is? Problem is, it's like New Year's resolution, follow through or giving up. Yeah, that's right. What does deep practice mean, do you think? What would be a deep practice? Does anybody know? I'll wait a minute or two to see if you guys have some answers. I don't want you to get tired on the keyboard now. Practicing with goals in mind. Okay. So write that down. Deep practice. How does it make you? Let me go back. So practicing with goals in mind, having a system you can measure your progress, practice with intentional purpose, structure with a plan, taking time to learn. You guys are kind of on it, but then kind of not. Focus practice, having a goal accomplished every time you get out there. Slowing down and paying attention to detail. Why isn't Willie's lighting up? Very weird. Okay, there it is. Look at Willie's comment. That's the best one so far. Slowing down and paying attention to detail. This is why a lot of people get stuck, is they say, I want to improve my serve this year. And then like, I'm going to hit buckets of serves. And then you think your serve's improving, but then the season comes around and all of a sudden you're in your first pressure situation and you realize that your serve does the same exact thing it did last season, did the same thing it did in 2023, does the same thing in 2024. How's it going to be different in 2025? If you just keep going out and doing the same types of practices, and you're like, well, I have a goal. I wrote down a plan for today. It's still not necessarily going to improve your serve. What they did in the talent code and what I believe in is that you've got to do this whole process of taking as many variables away from your practice environment in the beginning. Break things down into tiny bite-sized chunks. Like you want to eat your food like this. Like you literally want to nibble the smallest possible bite, get that one thing right, really focus on it, and then you move on to another part. And you don't even worry about hitting a ball. Okay. So a lot of you guys right now, you're thinking, well, I can't get better until all of a sudden my weather gets better. That's the worst thing you could be thinking right now. You have a huge opportunity to get better right in your kitchen, in your living room, in your backyard, in your garage, wherever you like to practice. Or if you don't practice in your house right now, you have to start doing it. Okay. So you want to make sure that you get these steps right. Then you can start to add variables in there, like a tennis ball, like a coach giving you hand feeds, right? Like getting the basket out of balls and going close to the net and then moving your way back. These are all the exercises I bring you through in the 30-day best year ever challenge, because a lot of people don't know how to do this stuff. Okay. So it makes us better. What the whole idea of deep practice, how it makes us better, is we learn how to do this, and then eventually, I'm not going to get into what myelin is and how it works, but what we think of muscle memory, once we do these deep focused exercises and we rinse and repeat, bringing it from a very closed environment with no variables to all of a sudden all the way to match play, and then we rinse and repeat it. We do this over and over again. What the pros do right now is they hit on instinct. They're able to fire signals so fast throughout their body. We think of it as muscle memory, and they don't even think about it. It just goes faster than most people out there, fast and accurate, and it works. They did this through deep focused practice their entire life. That's why if you go to a tournament, go backstage sometimes and see them hit. You actually see coaches feeding them hand feeds. Take a look at them in the gym. They're doing tennis specific movements. They're just not like lifting weights. I mean, sometimes they are, but often they're doing a very specific movement that will be just like they're going to do on a tennis court. The more you do that, you're going to all of a sudden be better than everybody else around you. That's what deep practice is. That's what it does for you. Now, why don't more people do it if this is the way we know how to do it? Okay, so write down some things, and I'm just going to start writing too. Why don't more people do it? I'm just going to put my own ideas on, and then you can tell me what you think. Why more people don't do this? More people don't do it, first of all, because one, they don't know about it. Okay, they simply don't know what exactly deep focus practice is and exactly how to do it. A lot of people don't have the patience for it. Okay, they know it, just like we know eating certain foods will make us lose weight, but we're like, I don't want to do that, right? So you don't have the patience for it. You don't have the motivation to keep doing it. You don't have the motivation. You start out of the gate hot, so you get that ignition moment. You're like, oh, Pete just told me about this, and then all of a sudden you can fall off. Okay, and you don't know if you're doing it right. You don't have this. We're getting into next. You don't have a master coach actually sign off on your work, so you know if you're doing this right. Okay. Dave says that's why progressions are brilliant. Some don't want to change. It's not as fun. It takes discipline and effort. It may become tedious. Okay. These are all true, real answers. But if you knew that if doing this could lead you to your best year ever, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to do it? That's the question. So the third ingredient, what do you guys think? I've already given the answer away. What's the third ingredient to dominate 2025? We've got ignition. We got to be fired up. You guys got to be fired up. If you're on this call, you're probably fired up because you're here. You've got to do the deep focus practice. You have to do it. That's the way that you get things done. And what's the third ingredient? It's the master coach. The master coach, first of all, has to show you all these progression works. Otherwise, you wouldn't think about half this stuff. You just wouldn't know how to do it. You don't know what you don't know. All right. And then the master coach is there for motivation. The master coach is there to make sure you do it right. All right. So how does a master coach help us? What do you guys think? What does a good coach do for you? What does a good, and my backstage people, get ready because we're on slide 25, slide 28. I'm going to bring you on. So if you're hearing me, get ready. Are you the master coach? Well, that's for you to decide. That's for you to decide if you like the way I teach, and I definitely love to teach in progressions, then maybe I am. But before we get into saying if I'm a master coach or not, what has a good coach done for you? What has been the benefit of having good coaching? Let me see you guys what you think. Constructive feedback. Okay. I'm going to go through some of the ones coaches helped me. I remember this Australian guy taught me excellent technique, and he wouldn't let me get away. He wouldn't let me get away with bad technique. He held me to the higher standard, and I really learned how to become a pure serve volleyer. And what I liked, see, I did deep practice without even knowing I was doing it. I love to go around the house and do a perfect backhand volley because I really struggle with it, but I thought it was so beautiful. Okay. Micro corrections. That's right. Corrections. Okay. So correcting you and making sure that we're going to correct one little thing. A motivator. Okay. They're motivating. Great coaches are motivating. You get excited, you get inspired and you keep staying ignited. A good listener. Okay. So these are some of the things that master coaches do for us. What keeps people from getting a master coach? What are some of the things that you guys can think about that would keep you from getting a master coach? Well, master coaches, a lot of them, like call up Patrick Mortaglu and say, hey, I want to schedule an hour lesson with you. I think you're a great master coach. I bet you he's going to say, all right, well, I'll come on the court with you, but it would be $2,000. You know, how often can you get that? So master coaches are often expensive. Okay, write some other stuff down as I'm writing this down. Master coaches can be expensive. It's also, sometimes you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your master coach. You know, somebody's going to put frogs down here. Some coaches, everybody's going to say, I'm a great coach. I'm a great coach. But then you might start working with them, taking lessons. You're like, I'm not really seeing myself improve. And a lot of stuff you're saying, I don't know if it makes sense. Right. So accessibility, hard to access them. That's a good one. So maybe a couple of things. Maybe some of you guys live far away from a coach. There's also people that I know that live in a certain area. The good coaches, they don't have any hours to give. Okay, so it's hard to get a lesson with them. All right, so too busy. That's right. That's Scott. Actually, I think you told me that, right? You're really good coaches at your club. They're too busy. So good coaches, master coaches, can be expensive. There could be a lot of phonies out there. They're hard to access. So these are some of the things. So by not having all these ingredients, what ingredient do you think that you're missing the most to be able to achieve your goals? Is it ignition? Is it a master coach? Or is it deep practice? What do you think that you are missing the most that's keeping you out of the big three ingredients, that's keeping you from being the best player you can be? Doug says deep practice. So I have one for deep practice. Another one for time. What else? Deep practice. So a lot of people are saying deep practice. Does that mean you do it if you were shown how to do it? That's the question. All right. So what I have found is that it is usually 2 and 3. You guys are usually pretty fired up. Okay. But what holds people back is not really knowing the deep practice exercises, not having access to a master coach, and then especially with online information, you can feel lost and alone. So maybe your ignition, even though your ignition for tennis doesn't go down, but your ignition to do the work when you go through an online course, maybe you start to lose that motivation to log in and do the work every day. And you can feel lost because you don't know if you're doing it right or wrong. Okay. So that's where I want to bring in some people who are like you, and they've listened to how they're now accessing these 3 essential ingredients to dominate 2025. They're deep into the best year ever challenge, and I do think that this is something unique that hasn't really been done with online coaching. So I'm going to bring you guys in, and you guys can tell them what you think as far as how this has been. So we've got Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Hi.
Good to see you. And then we got Amy.
Hello.
And we've got Eric. I picked these guys because they're crushing the best year ever challenge so far. I don't know how many people are into it on this call, but these guys are all into it. And thank you guys for coming on. And I just want to first of all thank you guys for coming on tonight, and thank you for your passion. And I'm going to go around the horn. So I'm going to ask Lisa first. what do you think so far of the best year ever challenge? What do you think about it?
I love it. I think it's great. I haven't done a challenge like this before. A lot of the challenges have been maybe singularly focused. Maybe you're focusing just on serve. You're focusing on maybe your forehand or something like that. And what I like about this is I can go in and pick what I feel like I want to work on for that day, or especially if I'm going to go out and do a clinic or go get some practice, I can go look at your videos or whatever for that day and go work on that. And
Yeah.
that's helped, especially this last week doing that, just picking up maybe the footwork and doing some footwork before I go actually practice. And so
Mm,
that's helped a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah. So did you guys hear that? I actually want to show you that right now. She said you can actually pick what you want to work on. I'll show later since we have everybody on the screen here. I don't want to ruin that, but you can pick what you want to work on every day in the four big areas that the serve, consistency, your fitness, and your strategy and mental toughness. You decide what you do every day. So it's kind of, I don't think there's anything really out there like that. Amy, what about you? What do you think about it so far?
Well, what I like about it is, what Lisa said, you can pick, and those are some of the top areas where I also need improvement. But I think what I also like is that it's like a game style. You keep the motivation factor going because it's like, okay, every day I've got a challenge, and it's like it's creating a habit as well. Because I'll be honest, I do have a lot of your programs, and the motivation like was there initially, but then it's like, oh, life got in the way and I forgot about it. So this is a nice reminder. And like you said, a lot of times they say 21 days to keep a habit going. So hopefully this challenge is just enough time to make sure this is like a deep practice that will continue on post the challenge as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
So does it feel different knowing that you can go in and score points and
yes.
we'll tell everybody more if you haven't read the emails, what you can win. Um, so it gets you motivated to do that, huh?
Right. You're not only competing in tennis, but you want to compete for the prizes.
Yeah, yeah, which is pretty cool. Eric, you've been going crazy on the challenge. So tell me what your experience is and how does it compare to other online courses you've done?
Yeah, it's been great because, when you look at it, it's 30 days. And as Amy just talked about, 21 days to get a habit. Well, this is 30 days. So you're just really getting engrossed in those four areas. And they're so important in your tennis game because I want to get back to 4-0. I got knocked down in 2023 to 3-5. And to get back to 4-0, I need to be able to focus. I'm in a job transition, so it's giving me a little bit more time to be able to focus on that. And when you do the progressions, I was using some of the things that you were doing for like a doubles practice, and I used it in the match. And to be able to lob over the net person's head, well, they started to change their strategy because they started to move back and it got more. And I was able to implement those things already, and then to be able to have the awesome technique skills, and then getting into the strategy and the movement. And so those four areas are such an important thing in tennis, that you're hitting every single thing. And just your enthusiasm, the prizes are awesome. So what's not motivating to be able to do that? So just to be able to take the time to do that. So very excited about it. Thank you for putting this on because I know it's a lot of work,
Oh yeah.
but you're helping us get it so that we can get better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Sure. You're welcome. But how does it feel? I'm going to get to Bob in a second, but how does it feel to have you ever taken a course before and you just didn't actually watch the entire video? I mean, I know I've bought courses in a variety of different areas in my life, and sometimes I kind of get, I wouldn't say like a big depression, but I get a little disappointed in myself that I'm like, man, I didn't even watch one video from beginning to end. Does it feel different to go through this course and actually go through and watch the entire video and really immerse yourself in it?
Yeah, so the big motivation is like when you go to school, right? You're getting kind of a grade and you're getting points. And so that's a big motivation. The other ones that you get from different instructors, Well, there isn't things you have to just want it and keep it up. And
Yeah.
so that's a major difference. And it keeps you motivated because you have something that you can say, I've accomplished something.
Yeah.
Accomplishing things in life, not only in tennis, but in life, that, those are those three ingredients. So that's so helpful to be able to do that. So, being able to have those prizes have been a huge motivation.
Yeah. How about you, Bob? Oh, your mic is turned off. Do you know how to turn it on? Give him a second.
There we
Yeah.
go. I'm sorry, I turned it off so I wouldn't make any noise. Anyways,
No.
I'm just having a great time with it, and you've made it fun, and like Lisa said, there's lots of different programs you can see, but what really helped was the ball machine programs, and I guess it was just common sense, but I never thought to move the ball machine. I just stuck in the middle, and I thought I had to, like you said, hit every ball. I went yesterday and rented the ball machine and just did what you showed, and I had so much time and to work on a lot of shots. It was just before it was work using the ball machine, and yesterday was fun using the ball machine. And then after I did that, I went back and watched that video with, is it Jorge or whatever that does the shot selections,
Yeah.
and so I practiced. So today I practiced not only hitting into the box, but where to hit out of the box. And I hit some really nice serves and into a 3-5 player that they didn't return.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tickled.
Yeah. That's great. That is great. You see, so these guys are obviously diving in the material and they're having fun with it. We think sometimes of deep practice as eating really bad food, but sometimes, good food and, but like, food that doesn't taste great. But for example, I just got my mom drinking smoothies and it was this green smoothie and she thought it was good. She's like, I don't want to drink that. And I'm like, just taste it. It's good. And she tasted it. She's like, oh my God, this is so good. You see, so sometimes the deep practice, it comes off as like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. But then once you get into it, you kind of develop these great habits. And you're like, this is actually really fun. And especially when you see yourself using it in the matches like these guys are talking about, and you see the technique improving and you feel yourself getting unstuck, then this stuff starts to become addictive. That's why pros love to do their practices. They love to do all that stuff because they see the benefits and they're like, this is actually starts to feel really good on the body. Doug, tell us what you think so far. You've done a lot of my courses. You've done a lot of online courses. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, no. And like others have said, you're keeping it fun and interested and new. And I was trying to think, well, now I wonder if these are some of Pete's best ofs. I'm not sure whether you think it is or not, but they certainly seem to be for me. And even like you say, I've done some before. And so like, oh, I've done this one before. And just the very beginning serve progression. It's like, okay, I got to go back, get my hand where it needs to be, get it relaxed. I think that was day one, and day 2 and day 3. And it was really fun seeing, obviously several years ago when you did Nick Bollettieri. I always call him Botticelli, but he's a painter. And he was talking about, well, how about y'all, you and Matt, you ask him, what's your question from other people? What did they tell people that are trying to figure out the strategy and how to hit the strokes each time? He said, well, if you're thinking about how to hit the stroke, you've already lost. The pros that get out there, you got to have had the deep practice or correct practice so that you're not thinking about how to hit the shot. You're thinking about where you should hit it and other more strategic aspects, not being able to hit the shot. So I still in the too many unforced errors. So I need to work on that. Your whole program this time is I got to give you a lot of credit, because aside from you're very accessible, you're not expensive unless you like go there and spend a week with you, but you really take the time to help everybody. I was watching a couple of your practices, and I was getting tired watching you practice. And it's great, and it's I was thinking like, how am I going to keep up with these points? And then you kind of mentioned, well, some of these in the future might have a lot of points in one time. It's like, okay, I'm going to quit trying to get 1 point at a time. I'll wait for the 30-point things. Those are my quick comments.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And so that's exactly right, guys. Is it's a program like you talked about. You want to stick with it. And so as you go through this too, I'm going to throw in some surprises at you to where like, oh my gosh, today's like, you might actually score 10 points for watching one video. Because the key is to stay consistent. And like he said with the Nick Bollettieri comment, if you are thinking about your shot so much when you're hitting it, you've already lost. That's why we talked about deep practice is so important. So once you have something developed, you're doing it faster and more accurate. That's called the muscle memory, that you just do it without thinking. And that's what a lot of my programs are designed to be. Like he said, is it the best of best of? A lot of the videos are definitely, I'm like searching, like find the best ofs, especially when it comes to strategy, but it's also very systematic. Like, for example, so many people put down the serve that you really want to work on the serve and get the serve better. Well, it's not just out of nowhere that I'm doing this. The first thing you start out with if you want to improve your serve is the 3-day racket drop challenge. That's making sure we get this racket drop right if you happen to have the weighted tray. The next thing that I take you through is the 7-day serve challenge, where we work on, like, you're getting your toss right. We also work on the racket drop again. We work on your balance. We work on how to hit a slice serve, how to hit a kick serve. So that's a very comprehensive course. Then after that, I take you into a serve accuracy course. So now that we've got the racket drop going, we've got the 7-day serve challenge done, then we're going to work on our accuracy. So you see, it's stepping stones and very focused, as opposed to just going out there and hitting buckets of serves and wondering why your serve performs the same exact way day after day, year after year. And the good thing about this challenge is I'm not going to take away your access. It's a rinse. All my challenges are designed to be rinse and repeat. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. And then I want to show everybody watching this, where the challenge is going. So whether you're a challenge member already, what's coming up, how's this work? If you haven't dived in, and what more are we going to do? And if you haven't signed up for the challenge, make sure you do it, because we are starting tomorrow. People are already scoring points, but don't get discouraged if you haven't scored points yet. Because like I said, you could start scoring tomorrow if you haven't already. And then trust me, this is gonna be like a drama, like a Netflix series, because I'm gonna throw stuff at you like, oh man, I was ahead, but now I fell off and I'm behind. And it's one of those things that just don't give up. Even if you miss a couple of days, get back on the horse, right? So thank you guys. I'm going to say good night to you all, and I'm going to keep going, but you guys are amazing.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. How do I take remove from stage? Remove from stage. Remove from stage. Remove from stage. Oh, they're all leaving me. Well, thank you guys. So let's see what I had next. So let's go into actually how this works, and then we'll answer questions at the end. But I wanted to show you guys this in case you have tried the challenge for $1 and you haven't dived in yet and you're wondering how it works. This is how exactly it works if you're thinking about doing it. It's your roadmap to success, and you start for just $1. You get to try it for 14 days. If you do it for 14 days and you love it, you don't do anything, and you're just charged a one-time fee. It's not going to be a yearly fee of $67. Okay. We're only going to let 500 players in. We're already over 100 players. And this is how the challenge works. We're going to focus on your serve, your consistency, your movement, and your strategy. And you're going to compete for prizes. When you're like, what are they talking about prizes? Well, here are the main prizes. First prize, just for doing your job and trying to get better as a tennis player. You can see how they already like doing the work and how they're already seeing it benefit them. First prize, you're going to get to come train with me for 2 days, 6 hours of training on the house. All you have to do is get yourself out here. I will pay. This is how much I want you guys to work on your game. I'm going to pay for your hotel room, your meals, and your training. All you have to do is get here. All right, that's first prize. That's over $2,000 value. And so the person who gets the most points is going to get to do that. Have you ever seen this in a course before with tennis? Second prize is a fast track training aid. This is my favorite training tool for tennis. You can literally hit 1,200 balls in an hour. The ball feeds you. Remember how you talked about deep focus practice? This is great for deep focus practice. It feeds you like a coach is giving you a hand feeds. So you can really perfect your technique. And that's a $400 value, and I will take care of that for you if you're second place. Third prize is a Sabre tennis racket. I don't know if you guys seen this. This is like the smallest tennis racket in the world, and it's so well made, though. It is so well made. If you hit the ball solid, you feel like you've hit a great tennis shot, but it helps you work on your sweet spot, which is one of the things holding you back from your consistency, your focus, and your ability to match up the ball in the strings. This is where you get to do that. So, and you just signed up for $1. Then, like I said, after 14 days, you will be charged $67, which is still the less than the cost of a private tennis lesson with a local pro. All right. So that's how that works. Now, once you get in, what does it actually look like? Let me go. Here we go. So watch this. I'll make sure I have the sound up so you guys can maybe hear it. I'm going to take off this and put it. Hey, welcome to your best year ever challenge. I am so excited you're doing this because I can pretty much guarantee this is going to be the coolest course you've ever taken online. I'm talking tennis. I'm talking any course you've ever taken online about anything. This is going to be. So you get your intro, and then as you do this, let me go. I know there's one. Where is it? No, I think it's day. I want to go to a day. Oh, I think day 4. It shows it right away. Okay, welcome to day 4. Got some awesome. So take a look at this. Today. So you can decide what you want to watch. Is the 7-day serve challenge. You can pick. Choice number 2 is, this is a really good one, perfect doubles practice that I made for TennisCon one year. You could do a Marissa Johnson workout, which she is awesome, and that you don't even leave the house to do that. And then you can also hear what Rod Laver thinks it takes to be great. So are you getting this? You can, when you get your days, right now the first 5 days up, you can pick what you want to work on. So you can watch an interview with Rod Laver. I can't believe I did an interview with Rod Laver. You could do the perfect doubles practice. So let's click on that. And then this comes up. And now what I put in these videos is I put something called an Easter egg in there. Okay. I put an Easter egg in there. What does that mean? It's hidden within the video. It's making you watch and stay engaged, because so many of you, again, struggle with the motivation to keep your ignition, to keep going through. Well, like they were saying, you score points by watching the video. So you're getting better. And then you score a point. Let me show you how you can score a point. Where is it? Here it is. This is right here. This is going to come up here in a second. So I'm showing you, there's the lesson. Okay. And then in the middle of the video, where does it come up? Come on. Did the video stop? There it is. See? Now all of a sudden I come on in the middle of the video and I'm saying it's time to score a point. So when you click this, you score a point. Okay? You click here to collect your point. Also, lots of times, if you're not ahead on the leaderboard, still keep going because I'm giving daily prizes. So, like, for example, prizes coming up. Andre Agassi's open book. Somebody's going to win this. So even if you don't win the grand prizes, you want to watch the videos, you want to stay engaged. And then I'm going to come up and say, it's time to score a point. And I'll say, and today we're competing for Andre Agassi's Open. Or this is a good one for tennis players, the Tennis Players Excuse Handbook. That's another one. Novak Djokovic. You can get Novak Djokovic's inspiring story. This is a pretty cool one about a bunch of stats, bios of tennis legends. So that's some of them. Another one that you can win, and we're gonna give several of these away. Let me find it. Is it here? Yes. Look at this. This is pretty nice. So again, just for watching the video and paying attention, not falling asleep, I'm going to come up and I'm going to say, hey, today you can win a best year ever challenge towel or a best year ever tumbler. You see how this works? Isn't that cool? Also, I have over, I think now 35 people already signed up. I could be right. I could be wrong. I think I'm around there. I think I have 30 to 35 people signed up for free one-on-one coaching session with me. Okay. Dave already did one. Dave and I already did a personal one-on-one personal train where we're talking just like you saw me talk to Lisa and Amy and Eric, and we're talking about your game. So that also, by just paying attention to the challenge, is going to come on up. I've got one other, but these are not the only prizes. There's more prizes, but there's one other thing I want to show you tonight. Hold on, watch this. So Amy actually knows I'm a big fan of ice cubes, and I like old fashions. So I actually found this. First of all, there's the mold. Okay. So somebody's going to win this. I think somebody's hope this is maybe the thing I'm most excited about is these are tennis ice cube balls. Look at that. Imagine what a hit you're going to be at your party if you happen to win this one day. And you can serve these tennis ice cube balls, and you can tell the cool story. Well, how did you get this? Well, I did the best year ever challenge, and I was paying attention. I was getting better at my tennis game, and I happened to win this best year ever prize. How cool is that? What do you guys think about this? This is one I'm so excited. When I saw this, when I was doing some research for you guys, and I saw this, I'm like, I've got to get that. I've got to get that for these guys. So as you can see, you can win these daily prizes. You can get better. You can do one-on-one training with me. And the reason why I am doing all this is because I want you guys to think about some questions. If you haven't signed up yet, or if you signed up for the best year ever challenge, you're like, I don't know if I'm actually going to do it. I don't know if I'm actually going to do the work. Misha says, that is so fun. Yeah. Britt says, I really enjoyed the one a lot with the ball machine. Okay. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. So I want you guys to ask yourself questions if you've signed up for the challenge, but are questioning already if you're going to actually go through and pay attention and do this, or if you haven't signed up yet, who is responsible? Who is the one responsible? And I want you guys to answer this in the chat. Who is the one responsible to improve your serve, your consistency, your fitness, your strategy and mental toughness? That's a lot of stuff that you've got to improve. Who's responsible to do that? Whose responsibility is it to improve your serve, to improve your consistency, to improve your fitness, your strategy, your mental toughness? Myself. That's the right answer. You are responsible. Okay. But it is a very, very cumbersome sport. It's right. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to know if you're doing the right thing. It is tough, but it is a tough sport. Okay. I'm not going to lie. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? What are your options? What happens if you train the same exact way as you did in the off season last year? What's going to happen when you finally get into your matches? What happens when you face whatever your Achilles heel is on a tennis court and you train the same exact way you did last year if you didn't improve your Achilles heel? Okay. And I already showed you everything you get. So if you decide not to do this, what would you do instead? If you're like, I'm not going to do this. I don't, like a lot of people said time, but yet you're having time, you're taking time to play tennis and you want to get better at it. What would you do instead? Well, you could do local lessons. You know, how much is that going to cost you? Remember, this is $1 and then $67 for 30 days, less than a cost of one tennis lesson. You're getting 30 days of step-by-step in the 4 areas. So how much is that going to cost you? How much access do you have to the coach during the week after you've had that lesson? What happens when the lesson's over for the week? Is there a systematic plan in place with the coach you're currently working? I mean, if you have all this, then you don't need to do the challenge. But is there a systematic plan in place with the coach you're currently working with? Or are they just hitting and feeding you balls? Are you improving? Or are you just staying at the same level, hearing the same tips that have worn out? Are you working on all 4 areas with your coach? Or does your coach just work on one thing? Maybe just work on your technique, or maybe you guys just work on your serve every week, or you just hit your cross court balls. This is working on everything, and you get to decide every day what you're going to work on. Another thing you could do is you could do other online courses. Well, if you do other online courses, does the challenge cover everything in the Best Year Ever Challenge, or does this cover one thing? Is it interactive where you get to decide what you want to work on every day? How much access do you have to the coach, or is it just a one-way conversation? Like one of our challenge members came on and said, it's like, well, most courses, I just got to stay motivated. It's all up to me. As we can see, we have a lot of things in there to keep you motivated. Plus, we're going to be doing weekly live coaching calls. Next Sunday, we're going to do a weekly call with the challenge members. We're going to give out prizes, right? People are going to seeing if they've won this or if they've won that, whenever the days are. I know I have a Tennis Express gift card in there too. How motivating is it for you to log in every day? Can you win cool prizes? Can you set up free one-on-one coaching sessions? Can you access the coach by video or by clicking a button? Can you do all this with the current courses that you're buying? I don't think so, because I have never seen anything like this. You can also just decide, well, I'm just going to stay watching free videos on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Well, do they have a systematic approach, daily systematic approach? Or are you just feeding your dopamine every day? Are you avoiding, are you getting confusing messages? I think I wrote that wrong, but are you getting confusing messages? Are these coaches great coaches, or are they just great players? More and more, I unfortunately, I see, especially on like Instagram and all these shorts, you have great players who are hitting eye candy shots. They're hitting a forehand like 9 miles an hour down the line, and then they give you like a quick tip. And that's fun and exciting to watch. Like, wow, that guy's good, or that woman's really good. But is that really going to help you improve your tennis game, or was it just fun to watch and waste 15 seconds of your day, and then you waste another 30 seconds of your day, and it's really not going to help you get better? You know, are you watching 10 to 30 second clips, or a true step-by-step master class? Is anyone holding you accountable and checking your work, right? So what is the true benefit of doing nothing versus trying something new and exciting this year? What is the benefit of not doing this? I can't think of one, especially you had $1 to sign up, then you're just charged $67 after 14 days. And if you still don't like it, you can email me at crunchtimecoaching@gmail and say, give me my money back. I mean, that's kind of nervy, but you can do it if you want to. Anyway, if you need my help too, if you need my help getting set up, you can email me at crunchtimecoaching@gmail.com. And good night. I am done. So I want to thank you guys so much for being on tonight. The challenge starts tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. It's already started for people who have access to it. They're already scoring points, but we officially get started tomorrow at 9. So you can sign up tonight and get a head start. If you've been getting my emails, you know the link to sign up. Try and start with everybody. If you don't get started the first day, you can still, be a little late to it and catch up, but it's best if you get started now so you can start improving right away, so you can start scoring points right away, and you can keep up with the group. Because like I said, I'm going to do a lot of things that are not even there yet. We just have 5 days up. We're going to get 30 days in there. A lot of people wrote in great goals and questions they have for a year. I'm going to have Totally Obsessed best year ever mailbag sessions to where I go through and I answer specific questions that I see over and over again. And I'll make a video on that and let you guys have it. I'm going to be doing live streams to where I'll do coaching on there, as well as give you your announcements if you're one of the winners. And then at the end, again, you're going to find out if you're going to train with me for 2 days, if you want a fast track, if you want a saber. So hopefully I'll see you inside the training, and have a good night. And let's make this your best year ever on a tennis court. Take care.